So today we're going to do an outside brew. My worry is it's a little bit windy, and my concern consequently is going to be keeping the mash tun at a regular mash temperature. But even if it doesn't work, at least I'm doing my bit for humanity by staying in. I'm going to lock the gates because I don't want people just wandering up. I've washed the car park down, if only to keep the dust down, and soon I'll be up to temp, ready for mashing in. I suppose I ought to decide what I'm going to brew. Back soon. I've just done the water additions of calcium chloride and calcium sulfate. Next, I was going to start the recirc in the hot liquor tank and weigh out the grains. Right, that's the grain bill sorted. So we've got 3.5 of Pilsner malt, 1.5 of wheat malt, 300 carapils, 200 oats, making it up as I go along. I'm sure it'll turn out all right. So just bringing that up to temperature, then we'll transfer some water in and then ever so gently and slowly stir in the grain. We're all doughed in and not right bad, 65.8. My concern was, and still is, out here with the wind will cool the mash tun down significantly faster, but we'll see how we go on here. Right, we're in, so time of going. I've put a sort of lid on there. I do need to insulate this. They'll write that on my bloody gravestone, you know. 60 minutes, see how that goes. I've got some dicking around to do with boiler, and then I'm going to have a coffee. There are no hop additions in here until the end. They're all at Whirlpool. Then, what was I going to say? Whirlpool. I'm not going to bother with Protoflock because this is a hazy beer and you don't really need to drop all of those proteins out, I don't think. I don't know how I think about that. So at the end of the 60 minutes, I'll tell you what I do need to do. I need to check pH. Oh, check pH. That's about as perfect as it gets. I think I've nailed this water additions thing. I need to listen to the last part of a podcast that some friends did recently. But I've been reading the book by Palmer, and I think I'm happy. 5.4, 5.5 at 18 degrees is cock on. And I apologise for the way that the light frequency is working on this, but just to demonstrate, the Herms is working a treat even out here. And what we get, that thing up there gets it way at sun at this time of day. It will come out again in about half an hour and it'll be wham here again. But midday is where we get no sun, unless it's summer and the sun's right sort of like this side of the incinerator. The incinerator, energy reclamation facility, sorry guys, energy reclamation facility. So we got a little while wait yet. I've put this camera up here to do a time lapse of people walking up and down the towpath, and there was quite a flurry earlier, but it seems to have quietened down a little bit now, so perhaps people have got the message. So we'll do a nice long shot of the brewery setup. It's nice there. It's going to be beautiful in the summer out here. My plan was to offer brewery days and charge for them, and then the money that we raised in that would have been used for doing brewery days with patients. Neither of that's going to happen. However, some of the patients will be enjoying what comes out of this little experiment. And plenty of friends as well. I've ordered some PET bottles, plastic bottles, because I've run out of cans to send. Well, I haven't run out of cans, but that's a long story. I'm keeping some back for a mate. So I'm going to send some beer mouths out in PET bottles. The only proviso behind that is that people agree to reuse the bottles or send them back. Bring them back after all this is finished. Right, so we have now, I'll stop boring you because there's about another 43 and something minutes. Time for coffee. I don't really want to make a big issue about this, but again, it's like fucking Piccadilly Circus along here. I've never sort of known such crass stupidity. Anyway, they'll all be dead soon, I expect. I just... fuck's sake. I'll probably have to edit this bit out. Einstein, I'm fairly sure it was Einstein, was once quoted as saying there's only two certainties: the universe and human stupidity. He said, you know what, not that sure about the universe. Right, we've half an hour to go and it is a bit windy, but the sun is about to pop out from behind the incinerator. And we will then start the vol off and sparge and lautering and ting. Oh, Kim. I don't know. Anyway, the thing is, and I'll be blunt about this, that towpath ain't really 2 meters wide, so you've got to go and dive in the bushes, but people don't, they just walk past each other. Just walk past each other. Fucking hell. Right, sorry. It's not really about brewing outside, is it? It's about the predictability of human stupidity. Back in half an hour. That's a bit naughty. I've been blasting out some tunes in it on Canal while I've been waiting for the mash, and now it's time for the sparge. My worry that the mash tun would be having issues seems to be unfounded. We've managed to maintain a very decent mash between 65 and 66, which I'm happy with. It's just gone up to 666, you bastard. Anyway, between 65 and 66.6 then. Oh, you little devil. Right. Little devil, aren't you? Right. I'm going to get ready for the sparge. Now, I don't know if you've watched any of these little videos of mine before. What I was going to do is, this is our, I don't know what you'd call it, kind of like sort of vol-off lautering arm, recirculation arm. Anyway, so I'm going to take that out and I'm going to replace this with spray ball. But before I do that, what a lovely sight. Before I do that, I'm going to turn the pump off, because otherwise it will start pumping all over my hands, isn't it? And do you remember what I said about that sunny shiny thing? Thank you. Perfect. That sunny shiny thing. This is exactly the time now. Perfect. Exactly 1:30. When it comes out from behind incinerator. So now we start the sparge and the vol off into the boiler. Exciting, eh? So there's our spray ball in place. First I'm going to do a quick test just to check the efficiencies, but then what I'll do because what we had was we had coming out of the mash tun through the pump, through the Herms, which was warmed back water in HLT, then through the sight glass and then down that arm. Now it's going to go through the spray ball, but I'm going to now move this. Instead of going through the Herms, it will go into the whirlpool of the kettle, and I'll get a jug under here because as soon as I do that we're going to get a little bit of drippage, so I'll do that now and then come back. So now we are ready. I'm going to restrict the flow to open the inlet to the whirlpool and the outlet of the mash tun. And that's now, I'm going to restrict it a bit because we don't want it too fast in there. That's still probably a little bit fast. That's better. Now the reason is you don't want to suck too much on your on your grain bed. You don't want to suck too much on the bed. It's just, you knew that was coming, didn't you? Because what we want to do ideally is just gently draw the wort off from the mash tun. Now next I'll be taking the output from the hot liquor tank into the Herms coil. That will flush the Herms coil out and then through the spray ball into there. There's fucking loads more people wandering along the canal. In years to come people will say, either what was all that about then, or what silly fucking twats. I don't know. Yep. So we're now draining us grain bed slowly. Oh, beautiful. And we'll start to see it coming up through the sight glass soon. And then we'll start the sparge very, very gently. So I'm going to open these now, and I will control the sparge by the output from the pump. And you'll see here, this is pushing the remains of the wort through and then clearing out the Herms coil. And I think that's a nice little sparge. Again, we don't want it, in fact we don't want it going at all yet. We need to drain that bed a little bit more first. So let's wait until that's drained a bit more. Are we still going all right here? Yep, we're still. That's my little whirlpool attachment. It's an elbow and a pipe fitting. Seems to work. I'm in no rush. This can take as much time as it needs, and then I'm going to sparge at 78. Is the idea. So that grain bed is now draining nicely. I'll be back when we're finishing the sparge. How nice is that? Now the sun has come out. We're about halfway through the lauter and sparge, and very soon we'll start the boil. can you say? If people are putting their lives at risk, I sort of almost feel it's my duty to enjoy some of their last moments. Look at this. Fuck me, look at this. It's almost, I don't know. What do you think, Marley? Marley's just got back from a nice long walk, haven't you, Marley? What do you want? Do you want to tickle tum? Marley, bang. You look a bit soggy though, so I'm not going to be tickling your tum. How's the whirlpool, not the whirlpool, the transfer going? That's going all right, look. Nice and gentle. Still got a little way to go, but it's getting there. Now I like a nice slow sparge, but at the end I'm cranking this up to 80 degrees to give that final little wash of the grains. And I'm also planning something that I've not done before. I know. Which involves reusing these. I reckon I'm going to try and do another sort of another mash, and I won't get much out of there, but I'm going to try and do a low alcohol beer. Low alcohol beer is basically hop flavoured water, but I might get enough out of there just to get a boil going, to get a 10 litre very, very low alcohol brew. I do obviously need in a moment just to check. I forgot, but I had such a good mash that I think we're going to be okay on our efficiencies here. So I'll do a quick, very quick iodine test, just to make sure. Perfect. That's what we like to see. Good. We have a reasonably good conversion, but I'm going to try and squeeze a bit more out of that grist anyway. That, I think, is going to be about perfect. By the time we've got the boil going and the wind and the evaporation, we should be down to about 23-24 litres. Good. And that seems to have worked a treat. I'm now going to refill the HLT ready to do another mash, and again with reverse osmosis water. Actually, I might not. I might just use, because it's going to take ages to fill with reverse osmosis. I think I'll just chuck some tap water and a Camden tablet in there, probably half a Camden tablet for us next trial. We have the start of a boil. It's always exciting. So we'll go for the hot break, and then I'll keep this on a rolling boil for about 75 minutes, I think. This is a kind of made up recipe. I should have thought it through a little bit more, but I'm going to go for 75 minutes. Oh, here we go with a hot break. Brilliant. Right, start the timer. We are nearly ready for the flame out hops, which is 20 grams of Nelson Sauvin, 50 of Motueka and 50 of Wakatu. So this is a double dry hopped New Zealand, New England IPA-ish thing. Not sure exactly what to call it, but do you know what? I don't care either, because what a lovely day this has turned out to be. Watching footprints on the toolpath. There we go. We are at time. Flame out. We can turn off. Next we will be whirlpooling, but first get to use my new bucket. Oh, very steamed up, sorry about that, boys and girls. Right, oh, I'm not designed for this. Actually, I might just put that in there like that. Okay, sorry, steamed the camera up. Good. Where did I put the hops? Oh, they're over here. So yeah, 120 grams of hops. And then give that another 30 minutes. Beautiful. I think I might start a whirlpool going, which means turning that on, that on, that on, letting the air out. Sounds good. Pump on. Now this will be interesting to see whether the whirlpool does manage to transfer through into the new hot basket. Come back to that in a minute. Alright, I stirred it, but whirlpool's going alright, and my basket seems to be alright. Good. Good. Now while that's whirly-poolying, I am going to pour some more water into here. Probably about 15 litres, and see whether or not we can wash anything else out of those grains. Everything in brewing is about experimentationalisms, and nothing to lose. Fill it up gently. Actually, it doesn't really need to be filled up gently because that grain bed's already squished, but I get some water over the top of grain bed and then we can give it a stir and then let it all sit there mashing away for half an hour. Right, need to start preparing for final chill. So I'm going to stop the whirlpool in a minute, or in about 10 minutes I think, and then replace this with that, and hopefully because of this new assembly it won't be too difficult at the bottom to get a hose between. That's a short, did have a short hose, I might have to nick that one. Doesn't matter anyway, you can always cut a bit down. This is now mashing for another 40 odd minutes, 50 odd minutes. We've got about 15 really left on the whirlpool, but what I'm going to do is turn the whirlpool off at 25 and replumb it all ready, so it'll just steep for an extra 5 minutes and then run it all through. Good God. Do you know, I'm not saying anything. I really ought to edit this video a little bit to remove all of the references to idiots, but it goes through bouts of being busy and then quiet. It's where people cross each other, that's the trouble. certainly don't distance each other. Okay, back when I've replumbed it and we're ready to go through the chiller already. And strangely, the drug dealer's back. I think he's ready for his 4:30 drug deals. But even in this fucking lockdown, I've got the local drug dealer sat down there waiting for his business. Fucking hell. Right, we're ready to go through the chiller and start chilling. First of all, I'm just going to test all of the cam locks are locked. That there checks the temperature. Good. So that will work. I'm going to run the air out of here. That's good. And then when I set it going, I'm going to run the air out of here as well. I think we're ready to rumble. Are we ready to rumble? No, we've still got air in the system. There's quite a lot of air down there. Turn it off for a minute and bleed the air out. I'm going to do that with two hands. Okay, fine. We've got about 20 litres. Can't tell just yet because of the, you know, that stuff, what gravity we'll have, but anyway, we'll see when them bubblies calm down. That's now ready to go up into the fermentation fridge. Given that there was only 120 grams worth of hop pellets went in here. Oh Christ, someone else come for their fucking drugs. Piss off, guys. Fuck's sake. This is how big those hops swell up. What drugs are you after, I wonder? Oh well, I suppose alcohol is pretty much my drug at the moment in my little lockdown, so I shouldn't really criticise other people for wanting their spice and their crack and stuff. Anyway, we have the first one, which I'm calling a double dry hopped New Zealand New England IPA, is upstairs waiting to be pitched. I'm going to do that once I've got the boil started in here. And I'm either going to use 1056 or 1318 Y yeasts. I would use the 1318, but I'm a bit iffy about it at the moment. I'm not sure if it's the best of yeasts that I've got from that packet, but it is the right one to use for this. But I've got a really strong 1056 Y yeast 1056, which is volcanic, and I know that don't know. We'll see. 1056, it's alright for an IPA. I don't know. Let's see how this one turns out. I'll go and have a look in a minute. This is almost ready now. It's almost at its hour. And so I'm going to do a quick transfer, quick sparge, and set it up to boil, and then work out what hops I'm going to chuck in it. As it's going to be hopefully a low alcohol beer, heavily hopped, because low alcohol beers are basically, as I said before, highly hopped water with a bit of malty flavourings. So I might Might chuck a fair amount of hops in at flame out, not sure yet. But look at, I mean, bonus, boys and girls, you've got 2 brews for the price of 1 today. And a beautiful little bit of outside exercise for me, because somehow, I've no idea how, I've managed to clock up 7,000 steps on my Fitbit through wandering round car park. Right, I'm calling that 1.048. That's bloody lovely, that stuff, by the way. 1.048, that's good. That's about where I expected it to be. I don't know whether this is going to work or not, but we've just sparged it all straight into here. It ain't a bad colour. It's got that scummy stuff on the top from a little bit of extra water conditioning, but that pulls all of the crap out of the grain and that as well. Little job for Charlotte in a minute, decanting that into bucket for ducks and fishes. So we're going to boil that now for 75 minutes. The weather is starting now, I have to admit, to take a turn for the evening. It is now 5:30, so I'll be finishing this off at about 6:45. This has been a bit of a mammoth marathon, never mind, today, but enjoyable nonetheless. And what a beautiful end to the day this will be. Still haven't made my mind up how I'm going to do the yeast. I think in the one upstairs that I've just taken upstairs to go in the fermentation fridge, that is going to have to be the 1318, because that is a better yeast for that particular brew. This one I'll use some of that 1056, because it is the 1056 is a reasonably good all-rounder. We shall see. I suppose I ought to name this one, but I'm no good at naming beers. So I don't know, I'll probably call it something rather silly. Watch this space. Right, when we're ready to finally finish this off, I will finish off the video. I hope this has been interesting so far, even with all the swearing and all the people walking up and down the towpath. I have also taken the opportunity today, as it was quite a nice day. You're right, darling. I really must get you some new yeah, you're a bit threadbare, not half as bad as him, but I've taken the opportunity to put Napoleon back. Oh, hang on, I better stand back here and show you Napoleon up there. He got blown down a bit wind and his arm fell off, so I've attached his arm back on with a cable tie, and I've also given him his little dog back, enjoying his company. I know it's childish, I know that. So the question is, on this second one, what do I dry hop it with? Not dry hop it, flame out hop. Actually, I'm going to put it in probably for about the last 5 minutes, and I'm going to use 50 gram of Simcoe, 50 gram of Eldorado, thanks to Timmy Jenkins. They're both very similar kind of hops, but with slightly different kind of like characteristics, but they complement each other, I think. So 100 grams, 50 Simcoe, 50 Eldorado, and by the way, I don't know what that's doing there, because I fucking hate that stuff. I'm going to use it to clean the washing machine or something. So for the last 10 minutes we'll be bunging those in. I've washed the little doobry thing, washed that out, and we're nearly ready for our final, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes? 5 minutes would probably be enough. And the thing is, I don't half smell all right. You know, this is possibly going to be in line for an ad hoc low alcohol beer. And look how the night is panning out. What a beautiful dusk over Sheffield Canal. It's nearly 7 o'clock, so it's been a good old day, even though kind of like locked in. Going out in a minute to bring the cars and vans and stuff in. Yeah, good. Sorry if I sound tired, it's probably because I'm tired. Oh, I get steamed up. There we go. 5 minutes. And then I just let them steep for, I don't know, 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes, we'll see. God, this is a real ad hoc, isn't it? Yes. Okay, I skipped the last part, mainly because I got a blocked filter, and it was one of those things that was causing me a fair amount of swearing. Anyway, 1022, I think I'm calling that, easily 1022, which is all right, and it ain't a bad colour. I've drunk worse. So now we have another full fermentation fridge. I do like these tall ones because it means I can get 2 in at a time. I'm tempted to do this at 20. I don't know. I'll think about that. All of today, boys and girls, has been completely kind of ad hoc and impromptu. I had a sort of idea of what I might do, and then just kept changing my mind, as you've seen. And you know, I did buy this book about how to avoid being a procrastinator, and I'm going to read it sometime. I'm not sure when. But apart of the joy of brewing is the experimentation. And I freely admit, and I'm quite proud of the fact, I ain't an expert. I am not an expert. In all the years I've been buggering about with making brews of one kind or another, it's been the experimentation which has been the fun part. And getting to the stage where I can make something that I wouldn't mind buying in a pub. I can make something that I'd happily buy in a pub for about 4, 5, 6 quid a pint, something like that. For me, that's a part of the overall joy of being able to, and it's this process thing. This is why some people find it so difficult to give up smoking when they roll their own, because rolling your own cigarettes, you are constructing something you're going to consume. And it's the same with this, really. It's, from a couple of bags of sort of stuff that you might feed the pigeons, and some sort of like foamy yeasty stuff, and heating it up and cooling it down and chucking it in a plastic bucket and leaving it. In about 4 weeks' time, I'll have something that I might buy if I went into a pub. I'll be very interested in this, to be honest. That is the first real kind of like attempt I've done at a low alcohol. Now, if it goes wrong, I've got 100 gram, maybe after I've dry hopped it, maximum 300 grams of hops in there. So the most it's going to run me is what, tenner or something, if that. So if it doesn't work, fuck it, so what? If it does work, whoa, result. So there we have. That can now close for a couple of weeks. I will check to see if it's fermenting tomorrow. Distilling more water because it's the time when I replace the Star San. I'll keep the Star San going for usually a month or a little bit more. With distilled water, it seems to last a lot longer. Keeps checking the pH. This is the Sauvignon Blanc that Charlotte made yesterday with a little help from me. And it's a kit Timmy Jenkins recommended, or kind of like used, and then I asked him, I don't know if he recommended it, but he seemed to get a blinding result out of it. So I'm hoping Charlotte will get a blinding result out of it. I'm going to bung it in a keg and carbonate it, so it'll be a fizzy Sauvignon Blanc. Now it's 52 quid or something, brew to bottle, even though the lockdown, they got it here within, I don't know, a week or so that was good enough. Happy am I. I've got a couple more going downstairs, but for now I think we'll just say, just making sure I put the airlocks in, because I'm a bit doolally now. It's been a long day. I think it's been an 8, nearly 9 hour day, but when you're enjoying it, time flies like a banana. It's been a really long video. I'm very, very sorry, but I hope it's been interesting. And if you're staying in, thank you for staying in. And I hope this video helps pass a little bit of the time for you. If you enjoy my rubbish, you know the score. Please subscribe to my channel. Oh, and if you put the thumbs up thing, it means that I love you forever. I might even send you a bottle. Who knows? Right, that's enough. It's been a very long video. It's been a very long day, but it's been a wonderful day. Lovely day. I know I've sworn a little bit about people congregating on the towpath and whatever, but, you know, I don't know. It's just, people are people. And I had a good day. Hope you had a good day. And until next time, love you all. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.